Hello, and welcome to Backlog Gaming. Shiny Meloetta is finally available. This is so exciting for those of us who shiny hunt. And I thought now would be a great time to look ahead, as Pokemon made it very clear that more of these distributions will be coming out in the future. Now, like many of you out there, I have a living Pokédex in Pokemon Home, made up of Pokemon from Gen 3 all the way up. So I've had to go back myself and play Scarlet and Violet, and still haven't even unlocked my shiny Meloetta. But I wanted to look ahead and see what are the possibilities. What other Pokemon that were previously shiny locked could now become available through this feature. Some parameters that I laid out for myself. I assume that the Pokemon that are coming out next are going to be like Meloetta and don't evolve. So that takes out Calyrex, Cubfu, Cosmog, all those other fun ones. So let's go ahead and look together at what I think is to come. Let's start off with what I think is the easiest one to predict. I can call it right now with 100% certainty. It is going to be Enamorus. Shiny Enamorus is going to be your reward for completing the Hisui region Pokédex for Pokemon's Legend Arceus. And luckily, I've already completed it. Most of you probably have. This was an extremely fun game, and it was very easy to do. Most all the other Pokemon are already shiny available some other way. And I know some of you are probably thinking, well, what about Manaphy? We'll get to Manaphy. Don't worry. But call it right now. Shiny Enamorus going to be your reward for completing this Pokédex. Next up is BDSP, and as you can see, me, like probably many others, have not put really a dent in this Pokédex in Pokemon Home. I played this game. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I just transferred all my old Pokemon from the original, completed the Pokédex, and moved on with my life, and just played the game to enjoy it. So this one will be a challenge. But as far as the shiny goes, that will be shiny, unlocked here. Essentially, all the Pokemon in this gen have been released, whether it be Shaman in Pokemon Go, Shaman also in this game. You can get Arceus in this game. That's how I got my shiny Arceus. But the one is the one that we just kind of talked about, and it makes more sense for this game, would be shiny Manaphy. It has not come out in Pokemon Go yet, and it is very hard to obtain through the whole Pokemon Ranger thing. So I'm going to guess that once you complete this Pokédex, shiny Manaphy will be able to be yours. And, I'm going to wait because I don't really want to go back to this game. We'll just see when it releases. From one remake to another, I think this is another one that's easy to predict. Yes, everything in here is technically available. You can get your shiny Mew in Pokemon Go. That's how I have mine. But most likely for other players who weren't able to do that, this reward will probably be shiny Mew. Just another way to distribute it and give it out to players who have not taken advantage of that opportunity. So go ahead, do your Pokédex in here. This is a fun game, very fun, and just await your shiny Mew. This is where things get interesting. I think that Pokemon has a couple choices here for completing the Galar Pokédex and its DLC Pokédex. I think that the number one choice, and probably the right choice that they're going to do, is unlocking shiny Zarude. Zarude's been tied to this game through distributions, through the movies, and everything like that. I think it's going to be Zarude. Another choice is Keldeo. Keldeo, had a little bit of significance in the Crown Tundra DLC, and that's another choice. But I think Keldeo fits in nicely somewhere else, and we'll talk about that a little later on. Outside choices are Magearna and Marshadow. I know they're kind of tied to Alola, and there are some other choices there, but I think it's going to be Zarude. Now let's look at games that haven't come out yet. I think the first one come to people's mind is Pokemon Legends Z to A, which I think we're all looking forward to. I can't wait to return to Kalos myself. Well, there are three options that Pokemon has here. The first being Diancie. Diancie has technically been distributed before in its shiny form, but that's not really accessible to everyone. And the other two options are Hoopa and Volcanion. But Either one would be good. They're true shiny locked Pokemon. The thing is, what is Pokemon Go going to do? We have had tours of every region. Kalos tour will eventually happen. So maybe Hoopa will be released there. Maybe Diancie will be released there. There's already Mega Diancie in that game. So we'll just have to wait and see. It really all is going to depend on what Pokemon Go does and which mythical they want to release as a ticketed event for the Kalos tour. Well, this is a game that I know we all want and think is eventually coming. A Black and White remake. There are two options for this game, and I think it's really going to depend on if this game comes out and what they're going to do with this game. So if it is like BDSP, you're going to be able to hunt a lot of these previously shiny locked Pokemon. The two options here are Victini and Keldeo. So Victini you were able to get at the beginning of this game. I remember getting it, and I started the game with the darn thing, and it was really cool. So Victini is possibly the option here. Keldeo, again, tied to this region, could potentially come. But just as we talked before, it is Unova is coming up. It's happening in February. And so we're just going to have to see what Pokemon Go decides to do for its mythical. Is its mythical for that tour going to be Victini, or is it going to be Keldeo? And whichever one it isn't, the other one is going to come as the reward for this remake that I think we all want to happen. Lastly, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is Pokemon Go, and the Pokédex that is sitting in your Pokemon home, just waiting to be completed one day. And let's be honest, Pokemon Go will eventually catch up to the mainline games, and everything will be available in there. So when that day comes and you complete the Pokédex, maybe there'll be a reward. And I think the best one to choose would be Magearna. What better way to celebrate 15 years of playing this game than a shiny Pokeball? Why not? To just celebrate the millions of Pokeballs you have thrown at Pokemon. Well, that is the list. Let me know what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? What are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.